Hello everyone, welcome to our podcast episode with Utsav. Today we have a very special guest with us. She's Swathy. She's a trained Carnatic classical musician. She's also a performer, a music teacher, and along with that, in her entire career of music, she has tried out multiple genres from Bollywood, classical to even Hollywood. So we're extremely glad to have you with us, Swati, today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So if you can just introduce yourself to our audience, and then we'll start.
Sure. So my name is Swathy, and I'm a singer and a music teacher. And thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah.
That's the first thing I want to say. And so it's been a good journey as a musician. So I'm staying here in Bangalore right now for about 3 years right now, and I sing different kinds of genres. Like I'm basically from Kerala. I'm a Malayali, but I sing different genres, and I'm still, trying to improve for that. Yeah.
Great. I think that's a never-ending journey for everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So just tell us something, right? Like, how did you come into music, right? Were you like trained from your childhood? Or you found interest in this later on? How did you come about?
Yeah. So my mom is my first guru.
Okay.
So she taught me this song called Ente Kalpuli. It's a Malayalam song. And then I performed in a stage, and people started to tell that she's having a good voice. You should go take her for classes, music and all. And then my grandfather's last wish, he was saying that you should take her for classes. And my grandma took me for all the classes. She's actually half paralyzed person, but she would take me every week. Every weekend she'd take me for the classes, and that's how it started. I'm basically trained in Carnatic, and then I go for classes, personal classes. It was just that, physical classes. And then after my 12th grade, I was taking my BA music graduation. And then I came here in Bangalore for learning music production, and then I stayed here because it's a bigger opportunity place. So
absolutely. And how has been the journey going on so far? Like,
it's kind of struggling, but still I'm loving it because some days are really good, and we have ups and downs for sure, right? And if we do something for our passion, and if the passion is our profession, it feels really good.
Great. I think I can kind of resonate with that, right? So I come from a background where my mom was also a musician, right? So she was a singer, right? I belong from Kolkata, so my mom has been, learning Rabindra Sangeet, right?
Oh, okay.
Rabindranath Tagore, you must have heard about. So in Bengal, particularly, we have a genre entirely dedicated to him. So he was a great musician, playwright, poet, everything. And there are about a few thousand songs that he wrote just during his lifespan. All of those songs were primarily in Bengali. In fact, our national anthem is also written by him, right? Exactly. So my mom was trained in Rabindra Sangeet, right? And she tried to teach me singing to some extent, but I think she failed.
It's okay. I think you can still learn. There's a lot of
absolutely. But I think from my childhood, I was also kind of inclined to certain parts of music. Okay. So I started learning violin. In fact, my mom and my dad pushed me into this. So initially, while it was a struggle, I think it's like in popular opinion, violin is probably one of the hardest instruments to learn.
Yeah, it's called the queen of instruments. It's very hard to learn.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it was a struggle. Again, it's not that I did that to a very great extent, but yes, I understood the basics of music, got to understand, got a hang of it, and I think once you are into it, right, the fun of playing a music, getting to understand that is a complete different level, right? And I think apart from that, as you talked about your passion, if you're following your passion, so anything, even the struggle can be fun at times, right? So right now, we are building Utsav, right? Where I am trying to be an entrepreneur. We are building a company, right? I think even that is something which I am passionate about, and while there are ups and downs every day, but it still is a fun for I think all of us combined together. But I think we'll go back more into music, right? And how it evolved into your life, right? So as you talked, right, in music, when you are into there, right? So you have completed your formal education in music, right? And right now you are a performer, doing everything. So how does music impact your day-to-day life and your career, right? What kind of things you had to take?
So actually, like I wanted to take science as my major. I am really interested in zoology still. So I really thought of becoming a zoologist. And then it was completely different turn of events. And we have aptitude test as a career. For most of the people, they are not aware that we have many options to take this as a career. So that time there was an aptitude test which was going on, and then I attended, I got the rank, and then we got the admission. So it's not like the allotment process, it's nothing like that. It's completely different. The people who are only getting the rank, they'll be getting the admission.
Got it.
Okay, so 3 years it was completely, it's like a proper BA degree. Okay, like for example, if we study BA English, similar like BA Music.
Right.
It's just that the core subject is different, but we have to learn all the other subjects which is complementary with it.
Right.
So it's like if you want to really pursue your career on something, you can definitely do that. There are many options. For music, we have BPA, which is Bachelor of Performing Arts.
Okay.
We have BA Music, so many other. So I faced a lot of challenges, like especially from our society, because they'll be really confused and doubt, because they'll be seeing this as a struggling point.
Right.
They're not having a stable income, or because India is the only place where maybe Justin Bieber is really asked like,
right.
okay, you're a singer, what is your other profession? So the similar thing is happening with the singers and dancers
right.
here.
Right.
So when we say we are a dancer or we are a singer, so they'll be saying, okay, what's your real job? And no, better you go apply for a government job, that's
right.
more stable, right?
So usually it's perceived as a hobby only, right? People cannot think of it as a career right now.
Yeah, because like people in other countries, they don't have music in most of the movies, okay?
Right.
So they have albums, they have concerts, that's what it's going on.
Correct.
But people in India, they are really facing a lot of struggles. If, for example, an independent musician, he might be interested in a different kind of genre,
right.
but they are forced to follow the trend line.
Right.
For example, mostly in Kerala, we are going in a rap song trend line. So most of the people were not even aware of what's a rap, or this is a different genre. Nobody was aware.
Right.
And right now it's going a trend line. So it's like, I think people, they are always in a loop.
Right.
Once they like something, they're always in a loop, and the others are left behind.
So you particularly chose classical music. So was that your first preference, or you also wanted to go into modern genres? But
actually, that was the only option for me.
Okay.
I wasn't even aware that we have Hindustani or we have Western. We never had that option, because in Kerala, in my hometown, so whenever people say music class, it's Carnatic music class. Then when I grew up, I understood other than Carnatic, there are many options for me.
Right.
Then I started to experiment these genres. I was listening to different. I don't know Spanish, but I sing Despacito.
Yeah.
I understand Hindi, but I can't speak well, but still I sing Hindi song.
Right.
So I think for a singer, language is not a barrier.
Absolutely correct.
So we need to understand the emotion. We need to understand. If we understand the lyrics, it's better.
Absolutely.
So it's like that.
I think you correctly mentioned, right? And music probably is the only art form which can translate, right, across multiple languages. This doesn't require, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So we have a massive hit in the northern belt in the form of Kolavaridi, right? Which I even don't understand, but I can always vibe to it. Right? It's a great music to just jam to, right? And we have got all these international albums coming in. You mentioned about Despacito. I think there was this Korean pop songs which have become extremely popular.
Exactly.
I hardly believe even 1% of our population understands Korean, but it's just the music and the energy in it which
I have a sister who is actually interested to go to South Korea because of this. So there are many things. See, it's like a generation gap. Okay, so maybe my dad or maybe your father, your family, they might be interested in the 90s kind of song.
Right.
Maybe like Lata Mangeshkar songs and Sonu Nigam songs and all. And then right now we can say that the generation is going in a different turn. They like rap songs. They are mostly the people, students of Bangalore. Even my students, they are mostly saying they are interested in Western songs more than Indian classical. Okay, so it's like we are actually ignoring the fact that we are Indians and we have some roots of our own, and we are going into a different genre. It's good to explore, but still we should have what we have.
Absolutely.
Right? We should hold on to that and then explore.
Absolutely. I think on that note, right, because I also had the opportunity to learn music, maybe even just the fundamentals, right? So when I was learning violin, right, so I was primarily getting trained in Western classical, right? But I think because you are from a Carnatic music background, I think it's very clear, right, in Indian music forms, violin, particularly in Carnatic classical, is a very important aspect, right? So if you can just maybe highlight about the importance of violin, because I would also want to explore more from it.
So we in Indian music, it's divided into two, right? We have Carnatic as well as we have Hindustani.
Correct.
So both have concerts.
Right.
So the concert for a Carnatic music journey, it's completely with different kinds of instruments. Okay.
Right.
So it's having violin, it's having ganchira, then mridangam. So many instruments are there. So violin, it's a lead instrument.
Right.
Which means like when I sing something, the violin also does it in its own way.
Right.
So it's like it's a very important instrument because if I say a swara,
Right.
there is a last part of a main kriti. We have like different set of songs, right? Like a set list. Similarly, in a Carnatic concert, we have a set list.
Right.
So we have one main varnam or main kriti. So kriti means a composition.
Right.
So this main kriti, in that kriti, there is a huge part where the violin solely plays everything.
Right.
Okay, so it's having huge importance, and the journey as well as how violin became as an important instrument, it's still mysterious.
Right.
Because like years back, in 2nd century, it's in Natya Shastra, it's mentioned that the use of ragas, the use of instruments, how to use them, the rules and regulations and all.
Right.
So similarly, it is believed that even veena or violin, all this instrument, the real one which we are seeing right now, it's not the real one. It's not the first one which has been invented.
Right.
So those days people were starting to understand music and all. Even the sa re ga ma, the syllables, no. So it's actually believed that these the syllables came from animals and birds.
Right.
Like the sound of cuckoo, the sound of peacock. So similarly, the instruments were also, we know about Hampi, right? The stone pillars.
Absolutely.
So similarly, it's all about the culture thing, and it came from years back and years. So we can't really find like which is the first violin formed. We might have pictures, but we are talking about even photographs were not there.
Right.
So yeah, I believe that it's having huge roots.
Absolutely. So when I was learning violin from my guru, right? So while he was primarily teaching me Western classical formats, right? And I think even in Western classical, violin and piano are the two most important instruments where all the treble clef music is done, right? For the other formats, you also have like a percussion instruments, you have flutes and similar formats, but violin and piano still form the most important. But while he was teaching us that, my guru, he was also very interested by himself into Indian classical, right? So he used to be playing ragas on the violin, right? He also showed us, right, that in Western classical, while the violin is played on the shoulder, but in the Indian classical, particularly Carnatic, right, people are sitting on the floor. Then they would put the violin like this, and then they would play it, right? So the format becomes slightly different. I think the scaling is also probably slightly different.
Yeah, it's like we have many similarities compared with the Western culture.
Right.
So I have a theory that many of our musicians were travelers as well.
Right.
For example, when we say the raga Shankarabharana, so it's having the same notes as in the Hindustani raga Bilaval. Okay.
Right.
Similarly, the same do re mi fa, which is in the Western.
Correct.
So these instruments are really correlated as well.
Right.
So we can see the appearances as well. How a veena is very much similar to a tampura, and it's very much similar to a santoor. So many instruments are really we can say like improvised from different cultures. Okay.
Correct.
And even Mughal emperors used to call the South musicians from the kings and courts, and then they used to perform there.
Right.
So maybe we can't really exactly say where it started, but they were really travelers also. So they got interested, and maybe the our South culture got started first, maybe.
Right.
Okay, and then we can always say that maybe Western culture, they saw a person playing.
Right.
Many stories are there. We have many mythical stories how it started. So
I think so. My guru told me this, particularly for violin, right? So there are mentions in our ancient scriptures where there is a mention of an instrument called bahulin. Right?
yeah.
And he told me that probably in the ancient days, it was an instrument in a slightly different format, but probably from which the Western violin got originated. And right now again it has come back to the Indian music as well. So it's very difficult to
We
exactly
can really
corroborate,
say
right?
inspiration.
What happened hundreds and thousands of years ago. But we can also probably theorize about all of this.
It's just a theory we can follow, because those days we never had paper to write it down, and we never had the thought of documenting everything or anything at all. So like in Western as well, we have some tracks. For example, just a drum loop or just a simple backing track, which is not even copyrighted.
Right.
Or many things like that. So because the reason why copyrights came is because we should have our own assets, right?
Correct.
So those days people never thought of that. They were mostly interested in inventing new things.
Correct.
And distributing that to the different community.
Right.
For example, like we have 3 different musicians which are called the Trimurtis of Carnatic music. Okay.
Right.
So we have Muthuswami Deshikar, Shama Shastrigal, and Tyagaraja Swamigal.
Okay.
These 3 are called the Trimurtis of Carnatic music, which are like the main composers of Carnatic music.
Right.
They have done a lot of compositions, and there is a story behind how Rain was made from a single composition. Okay. So the composer's name is Muthuswami Dikshithar. Okay. So once he was traveling with his disciples. So those days, the main musician, he used to take his disciples, and then whenever he feel like a song is coming, so he'll just tell them to write it down. Okay. So it's called Anandamrita Varshini. Okay. So the Kriti is like, can I sing the Kriti?
Absolutely, please.
Yeah, sure.
Please.
It's a very small line, so it's like Ananda Mridakashini Amridavarshini Anadi Pujide Shive Murari. So this is the Kriti. In this Kriti, there is a small.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. There is a small line called Varshahe Varshahe. Okay, so Varshaha, you mean, maybe it's called rain. Okay. So there was a kingdom, it's a mythological story, okay? So there was a kingdom where there was no rain for years. Okay. And the Muthuswami Dikshithar's own brother was about to get married. Okay. So because of this issue, people were really starved and they were all really miserable because of water and the lack of supplies and all. So the king pleaded him, because everybody knew that Muthuswami Dikshithar made magics from music, okay?
Right.
So he pleaded him to write a composition or do something to make it rain.
Right.
And then he told his disciple to, write the song, and then it just came to him. So he wrote Ananda Amrita Varshini, Amrita Varshini. This raga itself is named called, Amrita Varshini. So in this one, there is a part called Varshahe Varshahe. So he started singing that with his disciples, and then when he sang Varshahe Varshahe, it suddenly started to rain.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
But what will happen if rain doesn't stop?
Right.
So it obviously will be flooded, right? So it started to rain again and again for weeks, and then it wasn't stopping. So the king pleaded him again, can you please stop the rain? So that time he predicted his death as well. Okay, that was his composition where he was about to fall ill, and he told the king that I might not be there when this Kriti is done. Okay, so he told his disciples to sing, instead of Varshahe Varshahe, Spandahe Spandahe. So Spandaha means still, like stop, right? So when he sang that, suddenly the rain got stopped.
Right.
So we have many mysterious things which really happen. So people still, even my teachers still believe that like maybe when we sing from our heart, magic things happen.
Right. I think if somebody sings from their heart, if we are able to make people cry, make people laugh.
Yeah, it's all about the emotion. Raga gives you the emotion.
Exactly.
Okay. If I sing a Raga Shankarabharana, it's like sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa. So it's more vibrant, more open, and that's the emotion itself. If I sing sa re ga ma pa dha ni sa, you think something is mysterious, some dark thing is going on. So that's the feature of a raga. Raga brings out the emotion. So whichever song you hear, let it be a Bollywood song, let it be a Tollywood song, anything. So the raga is the thing, it's the fundamental which gives you that emotion in songs.
I think because you mentioned about that story of the singer, being able to get rain, right?
Yeah.
I think even in the north there is a similar story which is related to Tansen.
Okay.
So he was as a court
Deepak Raga.
Yes, so he was a court musician of the Mughal Emperor Akbar, right? Yeah. And it is believed that even he could sing such ragas which could get rain, right?
Yeah, I see.
I think it's a similar story, but coming from like two separate geographies altogether.
Yeah.
Right? Very interesting. I think on that same note, it's because we were talking about the mythological part of music as well. I think when we have been trying to build Utsav, and we are visiting temples, we are talking with different pandits, we talk with a lot of experts who help us understand the different aspects of the ritualistic parts of Hinduism. So during that course of my knowledge gain, right, I think so we got to understand a lot, right? And one thing that prominently kind of gets highlighted in Hinduism, that arts, music, dance forms a very important part of any kind of Hindu ritual, right? I think if you just talk about the fundamentals of Hinduism, which starts from the Vedas, right? So we have the 4 Vedas, the Rig, Sam, Yajur, Atharva Veda, right? One entire Veda is just dedicated to the musical format of the hymns, mantras, jo bhi chant, whatever chantings we are doing, right? An entire Veda, the entire Sama Veda is dedicated just to the musical formation of the hymns and the mantras that are written in Rig Veda. So probably, if I'm not wrong, the Rig Veda was written around 1500 BC, and the Samaved was written around 1200 BC. And between those 300 years, it is believed that all the different things, all the different mantras that were written in Rig Veda, they were converted into musical format so that it could be passed on from generations. I think there is a very common thing which happens with all of us.
There is a theory. My teacher told me that the first 3 swaras which was found was Ni, Sa, Ri.
Right.
Okay, so in mantras we always chant something. It is like very basic, right? Very base. It's not high pitched or mid octave. So Ni, Sa, Ri, Ni, Sa, Ri, Ni, Sa, Ri. This is the first, swara which was made. Ni, Sa, Ri. So when we hear, we feel that some mantra is going on, right? So it is believed that it's really inspired from mantras and especially from the Samaveda.
Correct.
So and then slowly, like I said, from nature they understood different Ri, Ga, Ma, Dhani, and each note was made like that. So that's the
very
theory.
interesting. Very interesting. I think just on that same note, right? That let's say when there are a lot of people who come on our platform to offer different pujas, homa, yajna, right? And I think when we talk with a lot of these pandits in temples who are performing these rituals, it's a very common occurring that there is a bhajan, there is a kirtan, there is the mantra which is not just read out as a poetry but actually sung, right? I think this was also one thing which prominently struck out, that because in the very old days, like about 1000-2000 years ago, when Rig Veda and other things were written, it was very difficult for the scriptures to get communicated from one generation to the next. I think it's very common that all of us have seen, right? If there is a music and if we love that music, we can remember that music for tens of years, right? We can remember that music for decades, right? There might have been a music which was written in 1800s that is still getting sung by people in us with the correct lyrics, right? But if I have to just memorize a piece of text, it becomes relatively more difficult. So, it is also theorized that whatever was mentioned in the Rig Veda, for that to be efficiently communicated to the next generation of people, that was probably an intentional move that they also figured out. If you are able to convert it into some musical format, it can be much widely spread across people, right? I think that happened as well.
Actually, a kingdom was saved because of a lullaby. You know the story. It happened in Kerala years back. So there was a competition. The competition of Mahabharata. How they played the chess. Right? So what is it called exactly in?
Shatranj. I think it's called Shatranj. Yes.
So there it was another name. I think Pakita. Some name was there. So the competition was really getting tighter, and there was a kid who was sleeping. So that's the Travancore Raja. He was the upcoming prince. So that time the mom, she is the queen, and then she was just seeing the game. But she understood what's the next move is. So the king was about to lose all his assets, his kingdom and everything, but she helped him without knowing the opponent. So she sang one small thing as a lullaby. So she was singing like so undu means push. Push the guy. So she literally told him how to play the next game. But the opponent who was sitting next, he really thought it's like the lullaby. It's like very pleasant and it's so good to hear. So he wasn't paying attention. But the king, he was looking at the queen, and then he understood. It's like, I need to put the guy right now. That's my next move, and then they won the game. So
very interesting. I think very interesting like this, right? And I think as we were discussing about the history of Indian classical music, so as you rightly mentioned, Samaveda probably forms the basics of all the ragas that we have right now, on which right now all the music is based, right? So if you are listening to Arijit Singh, or if you are listening to any southern musician, right, all of those music is actually based on the ragas which were written by our our ancestors 3,000, 4,000 years ago, right? So it's such a fantastic thing, right? That so many years ago they were able to write down the fundamentals of all the things that we're using till date, right? Till date.
I would say they are really intelligent scientists.
Absolutely.
Great inventors. Because it's very hard to, create something which nobody has ever heard of. Okay.
Exactly.
If we hear any song which is going on right now, we might feel some similarities. Very rare to find new things right now.
Right.
So if you ask me my favorite song, I'll definitely say like I used to hear Ajit Singh songs a lot.
Right.
Like Sun Raha Hai is my favorite song.
Right.
And I like Channa Maria. So
Right.
these are all really exceptional. But when we think about nowadays, like what's the music journey right now, we might feel we don't have much favorites. It's
Right.
all about a trend line which is going
Right.
on.
Right.
But those days I really don't know how they created all this. Like in Carnatic music we have 72 ragas,
Right.
which are major ragas.
Right.
Then each of these raga, it's divided into millions of ragas.
Right.
Okay, so it's very hard to understand like the notes and which raga that is. So it's all created not by a single person, by a group of people who
Exactly.
lived by that time.
Exactly. I think just going a little more into the depth of like Hinduism and music, right? I think we have seen this, right? That as I mentioned already, that bhajan, kirtan, and nam sankirtan
Yeah.
forms like a very fundamental part of most of the Hindu rituals, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Whether you're performing a yajna, whether you're performing a home, the pandit or the priest who is performing it, for them it is almost essential that they are also singers, right?
Exactly.
Their singing might not be as good as you, but they have to learn, music and
Yeah.
have to have an understanding of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a very unique culture to
Yeah.
particularly Hinduism. And it's not just that, I think even our gods and goddesses represent music in a very big way, right? Where we can think of Lord Shiva in his Nataraj form, right?
Yeah.
Where he's a dancer, he's a musician.
Yeah.
I think Lord Shiva performed Tandava, right?
Because of his rage and anger.
Exactly. When
Yeah.
Mata Parvati died, right, he performed Tandava on the top
the
of Himalaya,
soul,
right,
yeah.
with his Damru that we have it with us
Yeah.
here, right. So I think, and not just that, I think even if you think about Krishna Bhagwan, right, he was an amazing flute player,
Flute
right,
player.
and we have heard stories that with his flute, you could get so many gopi and the
Yeah.
entire village to be following him throughout, right. I think we have an entire goddess and an entire department which is dedicated to music in the form of Devi Saraswati, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Who is the deity of all music, arts, and everything, right?
It's very interesting because we can see all our gods
Right.
where, having one instrument at least.
Exactly,
Yeah.
correct,
So
exactly.
even back then when we see the musician's hand, we can either find a veena or a tamburu.
Right.
Saraswati Devi is having veena.
Right.
And so it's very much related. Like people say that ta, la, the two words are formed from Shiva and Parvati.
Right.
Yes, like ta it is from Shiva, la is from Parvati. That's
Right.
how the word tala became. And there are many Hindu mythological stories which really believes that it originated from Brahma,
Right.
who created music.
Right.
And then Bharata Muni wrote everything in Natya Shastra, and
Right.
to get the people in earth to believe in music and to understand about the musicalities.
Right.
So-
I think on that note, I just want to come back to the previous part we talked about that.
Yeah.
Right now in India, probably people are not, taking music so seriously, right? But people who are believers of Hinduism or who are, have been brought up in the Indian culture, right? Those people must be realizing that music and arts was valued not just by humans, but by the gods and the goddesses that we have in our culture, right? So every god, if whatever department they might be handling, somebody might be a god of, whether we think of Shiva, who is a god of, it's said he's a god of destruction, right? So he has a damru with him always, right? Whether we think of Vishnu, in his Krishna avatar, he is always playing the flute and is having that always with him. I think, and the sound of Om, right,
Yeah.
itself is a representation of Brahma, right?
Yeah, they believe that Om, it is from the revolution of the earth.
Exactly.
Like how it rotates,
Exactly.
it's going in Om. That's
Right.
the
It's,
oscillation.
yeah, I think
waves.
even in the modern science, it's come up several times that Om is oftentimes related as a sound of the cosmos, right? If
When you
go-
listen to a bamboo, a stick, you could
Right.
understand like Om is the sound which is coming out of the forest, which is
Exactly.
completely silent. So there
Exactly.
are many mysterious things which we still have few interest in there. How
Right.
it's correlated with the mythology still now.
Exactly. I think just on that note, right, because you have chosen this brave path, which is quite contrary to what the popular belief is, right, that music or arts cannot be a career of its own.
Yeah.
What would you like to maybe suggest to our audience, or maybe parents who are having their children who is willing to take up, music or dance or any kind of arts as a profession in their life? You have any suggestions for them?
let them do it. That's my only suggestion. It's just that already they might be having a lot of self-doubting phase, because the society which we are living in, it's already scripted. People believe that we have to complete the education first and then go for a job and then live a life with a family and then die. People are not, we always study in textbooks that we have to dream, but nobody is taking that risk. Everybody is just restricting themselves, and mostly the parents which we have right now, we are really looking forward for them. Like maybe your role model is your father, your mother. So like similarly, so what I'll be looking into is how my family is living. So if I want to make it a better life, I want something which is a job or a profession which I love. We can't simply live a life which we don't love, right? So whichever if it's music or if it's dance, everything have good opportunities.
Absolutely.
Okay, it's nothing like, some people, they believe that okay, right now the IT sector is moving really well, so you should go for a job in IT, or maybe people say high paying jobs are being a doctor or engineer, you go for that. Nothing like that. If we have a passion, if we have good talent and skills in that, we can definitely escalate in any profession, any passion. That's my belief.
Absolutely correct. I think I just wanted to correlate both of those, right? That people should not be looking down upon arts, right? Or people who are coming from arts background, right? I think right now, with the advent of AI in particular, right? Probably it's more of the people who are doing the white collar job, sitting behind their desk. It's probably their job which is at risk. But I think the only thing which human beings can differentiate themselves from any robot, any artificial intelligence is their creativity, right? And I think in human beings, arts is the only format, right? How they can express their creativity. And probably that is going to be the only thing which AI can never replicate.
Actually, even for AI to do something, a human need to give a proper prompt. So I don't believe that because of AI, all the job, like job insecurity will be there, or people are not getting enough opportunities to explore. I would say for any new invention, a human is behind that. So if one person is doing one kind of job, he'll be getting another one with the skill. If we are not, people are there who are multi-talented or interested in different kinds of sectors. But if we are really looking it in a different angle, I'm a singer as well as a music teacher. So for me, there might be different times which are seasonal. There might not be shows. Maybe 1 month I'll be having many shows. 2 months it will be really dry. So, but I need to cope up with that, right? For a income source, like my second priority is teaching, which is a profession. So I go for classes. I'll teach what I have. So singing is like I'm showing my talent, like how much I've trained for. So teaching something is like I'm giving my knowledge to a different person. So that can also be your career. So when we talk about AI, we always have another option. We just need to look it in a different angle.
But what my personal belief is that probably creativity is the only thing which is at the least danger from AI, right? Because I think robots can be very intelligent, but they can never be conscious, right? Or they can never be creative by themselves, right? Even if you are giving a robot to write a music, I think right now people have seen, if you ask ChatGPT to write a romantic song, they can do it.
But they can't sing it.
But all of that thing is actually based upon whatever we have created, right? So they cannot create anything new. I think which human beings are the only beings on the planet who can do that, right?
When we give a prompt, they are able to do that. As an order, they are able to do that. It's really helpful. Like let's say ChatGPT has been influencing life a lot. Like let's say I want to, I have a problem in front of me. I want to just ask it, what is the solution for it? It'll give it whatever it is intellectual, whatever it is logical, it'll give an answer, which is already there. But to think as a human, if you ask a question, I can Google that, or I can ask ChatGPT and find. But what I have in my experience is completely different. That's individualistic. So
I don't think that can ever be replicated by AI or anything like that. I think creativity is the only thing which has helped human beings survive for hundreds of years, right? So it is, I think, incumbent upon all human beings and every parent that they are pushing their children into something which is creative. That can be anything, right? But the genesis I think is something extremely important, and human beings must be continuing with that process.
Yeah, even when we are studying other subjects, in schools we always had like, PT, physical training period,
Right,
or we might be having music classes.
Right.
But in our schools, mostly this PT period or music class period will be cut for maths class.
Yeah,
So, so
I think
that's
it's extremely wrong.
It's extremely wrong, because that's the only period which they can really do something creative, like other than just mugging up books or something.
Exactly.
They are trying to be creative. They are trying to express themselves. That's the only period which we are free.
Right.
Like whatever hustling we are doing, if you're working or anything, we need an off day.
Right.
Similarly, whatever they are learning, like they have 8 continuous periods. Like maybe one PT period will be something for some physical activity, or one music period will be something for singing activity. But if you are just taking that from them, it's really completely bad.
On that note, I also want to give some anecdotal evidences, right? So I come from a science background, but I am, let's say, decently interested in music, right? I have tried to do whatever in my limited capacity. So when I studied the life of different scientists, whether those people are in India or in the West, right? For example, Sir Albert Einstein, right? He was a musician himself, right? So even if people are thinking my child or my daughter is going to be a scientist in the future, and if you want that child or that daughter, son or the daughter, to be a scientist like Albert Einstein, you should try to follow what he has done in his own life, right?
Yeah.
He was a violinist as well, by the way, right?
Nice.
And it's been proven in multiple research papers, right, that playing an instrument particularly, right, is like an entire exercise for your brain as well as for your physical, your body parts, right? And that helps you create amazing level of coordination between your brain and your hand, right? So your hand-eye coordination, your thinking, and your physical activity.
It's basically multitasking. Like there are many in Duke University. There was a study about the brain cerebral capacity as well as the music, how it's correlated. There was an experiment, and once she was in a treatment for a short period of time. So we know how music therapy really helps patients.
Exactly.
Right? So similarly, she had a brain disorder.
Right.
So she was exposed to some music. Okay, and there were 3 stages where she was exposed to some reading. Right. She was exposed to nothing. She was exposed to music.
Right.
So music really changed a lot, like how it changed her neurotransmitters as well as how her listening skills kind of improved. Right. So we know how body is correlated. So when we learn an instrument, it's actually intellectually we are so much improving.
Exactly.
For example, I told like violin is the queen of instrument, right? It's very hard to understand. Like we have to play the string, you have to play the bow, and we have to think about the chords.
Exactly.
It's very tough to do, especially instruments. And when we are singing, let's say we are just playing a karaoke, okay? So when karaoke track is playing, we have to understand the time signature. We have to understand the song.
Exactly.
We have to sing the lyrics. We have to look on
the
audience.
It's like almost like your brain is going to a gym, right?
Exactly. It's completely hustling up. Yeah.
But I think like as you said, right, maybe singing or playing a musical instrument can be almost said as your brain is going for a gym session. So it's not just about building up your biceps and your triceps. If you want your brain to be functioning in the fullest manner, and then whether you are an accountant, whether you're in a finance background or whether you're in a science background, right? That doesn't matter. If you want your brain to be functioning at the fullest capacity, you must take up some sort of musical instrument. Right?
If we learn some instrument or something which is creative, anything,
exactly.
Like art, painting, or these are all which are categorized as the fine arts.
Right.
We have different arts. We have ordinary arts and we have fine arts. So ordinary arts are subjects like politics, geography, and like humanities, all these subjects. Okay. So fine arts are like dance, music, drawing, painting, all this. So music is actually called by a critic named Herbert Spencer as the finest of the fine art. Like one of the reason is that, like let's say I'm a singer and you are the judge, okay? So you want to understand my talent. So I don't need to sing a full song. I just need to sing one small humming and you'll understand how much talent I've got. So it's that instant understanding of a proper art, how much I've trained maybe for years. So you'll get that, okay? So similarly, there are many reasons why people should really follow these kind of arts. It will really improve your brain health as well as your physical health. If you practice early morning, I used to practice like early morning 5 o'clock every time, whenever there is a concert or anything at all. So we will literally feel hungry. Really hungry, because
right.
the way we are sitting, the posture and the time when we are practicing, so it's starting from our navel to our throat, from our brain to our mouth.
Exactly.
Okay, that's really singing.
Exactly.
So it's like a physical activity as well. So
absolutely, I think so. I think on that note, so it will not just help you improve your brain health, but also your physical health, right? You would become more active. Your brain power would probably increase. And after that, if you want to apply it anywhere else, that's up to you, right? But you would want your brain to be functioning healthily across your life, right?
If choosing your profession or career, that's completely up to your choice. But if you try to learn something which is creative, it's good to have that balance in your life.
I think because you're a musician, I would want to understand, right? Who's probably your favorite musician? Whose song do you listen to regularly?
I really can't say. I would say my teachers were always my favorite musicians, because they gave me that knowledge. But when we say commercial singers, like I really love Arjit Singh's voice a lot, because he's like it's that energy, it's that openness which is having in his vocal capacity. I like Shankar Mahadevan sir. I like Sonu Nigam. Everybody. So
I think on that note, because I come from the north, I have heard a lot of songs of Shri Ram, right? I think he has got a very similar texture to, let's say, Arjit Singh. Right?
Yeah, he is having a Carnatic kind of, you know. And when we say Udit Narayan sound, it's completely different with Arjit Singh's voice. So it's like each and every singer is unique. So if you ask me, each of them, you know, whatever my favorite song is from each of their composition, I can definitely say. But it's very hard to say one favorite singer.
Got it. And let's say, in your classical background, any particular musician, any particular artist that you have loved in the course of your study? Or
so there are many composers who are really into Carnatic still, who are following that, and I like T.N. Krishna's classes and how he is singing a lot. He's very much talented, very brilliant. So see, in Carnatic we have something which is sport improvisation. We call it Manodharma. Okay, so Manodharma is like we have to think sudden and sing the swaras. It's very hard to do. It's not like how we practice at home or anything. Let's say I'm singing a raga, the swara should automatically come out of my mouth. So singing Manodharma is like the most difficult intellectual thing ever.
It's like decades of practice.
And I think there are many great musicians. We have like Ranjini sisters, we have T.N. Krishna, we have M.S. Subbulakshmi, many singers are there. So they are all trained that way. I would say they are having great minds. Because we say Albert Einstein is one of the smartest persons on the planet, right?
Correct.
So similarly, they are also great, really great.
Absolutely.
But we can't really understand their cerebral capacity, but musicians definitely can, because it's so complicated to do that.
Absolutely. You know, I think on that note, where I come from, right? I think I mentioned at the beginning, right, that Rabindranath Tagore, Rabindranath Thakur, right? He is considered the greatest musician that has ever come out of Bengal. I think he is probably also the only person in India who has received a Nobel Prize for Arts, right? For his book Gitanjali. Right? There's one more interesting fact, I think, which a lot of people don't know, right? As I mentioned, that he has written about 2,500 songs, and along with that, plays, stories, drama, poetry, everything during the course of his life, right? This is one more very interesting fact that I think all of us know, that he has written and composed the national anthem of India, which is Jana Gana Mana. Right? Apart from that, he has also written and composed a national anthem of Bangladesh, which the song is called Amar Sonar Bangla. And he obviously understands, you are from Bengal, and during the course of partition of India, right, when it happened 1947, and then subsequently when Bangladesh got separated from Pakistan around 1971. So during that course separation, so Bangladesh people, the people over there, they wanted a song which represents them, which represents the pride of being a Bengali, right? So this song called Amar Sonar Bangla, which basically means my golden Bengal, right? So that's Sona, I think you must be understanding. So Amar means mine, Sonar means golden, and Bangla is the state, right? So the people over there adopted the song from their roots, their motherland, which was composed by Rabindranath Tagore again. And I think one more interesting fact, which probably nobody knows, right, is that in a completely different geography, which is in Sri Lanka, right, there is this musician who composed and wrote the national anthem of Sri Lanka. Now, how does he get related to Rabindranath Tagore? So in Bengal, there is a place called Shanti Niketan, right,
Okay.
where Rabindranath Tagore used to run his university. That was towards the second half of his life, where he was extremely old. He was located in Shanti Niketan, and he was running the entire university over there. So, and at that point of time, I think it's around 1960s, 1950s, around that range. So there were so many people who were fascinated by Rabindranath Tagore's singing and everything. So the university that he opened, people from almost across South Asia were coming to the university for studying over there. Very interestingly, even our ex-Prime Minister Indira Gandhi ji, she was a student at Shantiniketan under Rabindranath Tagore, right?
Okay.
So Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru used to be knowing Rabindranath Tagore, and that's why he sent his daughter Indira Gandhi to Rabindranath Tagore in his university to study.
To study what exactly?
So
Music?
she was studying. No, she was studying arts over there.
I see.
I do not know exactly what's the field she studied in, but she was studied in Shantiniketan under Rabindranath Tagore's guidance, right?
Okay.
And I think around that same time, there was one more musician from Sri Lanka who came to study in Shantiniketan under Rabindranath Tagore.
Okay.
And once he came back to Sri Lanka, he composed a music which is right now the national anthem of Sri Lanka as well.
Okay.
That music has got extreme influence from Rabindra Sangeet, like the genre of music that he created.
Okay.
That music has got all the influence from there.
Okay.
So I believe Rabindranath Tagore is probably the only human being on this planet who has composed not just the national anthem of two countries that is directly written and composed by him,
Yeah.
but is also heavily influenced the national anthem of a completely different country, a language which he had no idea of in Sri Lanka, right? Where under his influence, a student of him composed the national anthem of that country. And if you listen to that song, like the national anthem of Sri Lanka, and any other Rabindranath Tagore song, you will be able to completely hear like the similarity
Similar
of the composition, right?
Okay.
I think very interesting like that.
Yeah,
right?
I never knew that. That's good.
It's
Yeah.
completely interesting, right? Very fascinating. Even in fact, I got to know that when I was studying about Rabindranath Tagore some years back, right?
Yeah.
It completely came as a shocker to me. I had no idea, right? I think on that note, there are a couple of other musicians, right, which I completely adore, right? And I've also heard stories about them, right? Those musicians are mostly classical. For example, Ustad Bismillah Khan from Kashi, right, from Varanasi. So he's a Bharatnatya awardee, right? And he is probably the greatest Shehnai player the planet has ever seen, right? When I visited Kashi for work purpose, so we have to oftentimes keep visiting temples, get to understand the story of those temples. So on the Kashi, on the banks of river Ganga, there is one ghat called Panchaganga Ghat.
Okay.
Right? And over there, I met a pandit, with a very humble-looking guy. Right? I was just talking with him to understand the history of the city and the temples around the city. So he told me that Ustad Bismillah Khan, now while he comes from a Muslim background, but he worshipped Devi Saraswati and Lord Shiva regularly.
Okay.
And for his prayers, so he treated music like a form of prayer. For him, music was a form of prayer for him, right?
Okay.
So he used to be sitting on the banks of Panchaganga Ghat playing his Shehnai, right? And there was this Pandit who was very old, right? He told me a story that probably he has seen him playing on the ghat, right? That Utsav Bismillah used to be playing, sitting on the ghats of Ganga, on Panchaganga Ghat, and used to be playing his Shehnai. And people used to be come there, just for listening to his free of cost, you can say, concert kind of thing, right?
There are many compositions like that.
Right.
Because I like every different kinds of genres. For example,
Right.
I like gospel songs, which
Right.
when we hear itself, my teachers used to say, they're proper Carnatic teachers, okay?
Right.
When they visit a church, they said that because of the influence of the music, they
Right.
felt they want to cry.
Right.
Okay, and it's like all the musicians who are around the world, they're correlated in some way, which is the same emotion which they share.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I think similarly in the north part of India, there was a saint. She was born in a Brahmin family. Okay, and then she got influence in different cultures, and those days we had many different religions. Like Sikh, we have Sikh religion,
Right.
we have like Islam, and also she it is believed that she wanted to understand the culture and different aspects of music. So she she was there in all the religion.
Yeah.
That's the belief.
Yeah.
She was born in a Hindu family, but she wanted to understand the different kinds of music, how it originated, how it's correlated and all. So it's really fascinating to know that. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think on that note, we would want to take this forward, right? And my next set of questions to you would be like, let's say somebody who is looking to come into, let's say, music as a profession, right? Because you have already traversed the path to some extent, right? What would be the guidance you give to them, right? If there's a child who is looking to, let's say, pursue music as a profession, how can you help them from your own journey? If you can share some experiences from there.
So actually, I was working in a corporate as well, okay, as an academic mentor. So I had many students who were like in 7th to 10th grade who was asking me, like they were interested in arts, but they don't know the opportunities. So that's a good question. I really could help them. So till 10th, you can pursue your normal education, okay. After your 10th grade, there are many options to switch to music as well. Because even in my hometown, there was an option which we can take geography with music as your 12th major. So similarly, we can do if you are interested to do your 12th grade, whichever stream you are in, then there are many options. Like there are many colleges and universities who have aptitude test where they would assess you. Like let's say you don't even have to learn music, because whichever course you choose, so they'll be giving all the basic and all the fundamentals of music. For example, I have learned even till Varnams, and then but still I have to learn from the start, from the Sarigama, the first Saptaswara, we have to start. So this understand, if you could at least sing a song, even if it's a film song, the teacher opposite to you, she understands your talent and your caliber, if you can definitely get an admission. Or you could train with a personal teacher, get some physical classes, get trained. Let's see if you're interested and you have the caliber, you can definitely take it as a profession. If you want your proper degree, let's say you want to keep your options open, okay, and you can take BA music as your degree program, and then you can go for MA, and then if you want to become a teacher, you can choose that. Or if you want to go for MA music and then research on things, like I said, there are many options, like how science, we have musicology, we have music with science, we have many options, music therapy. So if you explore, there are many options like that. Let's say we have engineering, we have mechanical, civil, and all electrical, all options, right? Similarly, music is divided into many career forms. And if you want to become, and most of my junior kids, they are in sound engineering field as well. So there are many institutes which came right now after the amendment of 2021 Act, where the government said that we need to give more attention for the creative arts side as well. So after that, many institutes started in Kerala. There is an institute called NHQ, which is Noise headquarters. They offer a degree program which is for sound engineering.
Amazing.
Okay, like audio engineering. So there are many institutes. Even I think in North as well, there are many institutes, because I was searching. I was searching for sound engineering courses. We have courses which are integrated as well. Like we can go for music theory as well as the sound engineering. So you will get a technical and a theory knowledge. Many options are there. And if you don't want to take a postgraduate degree or a let's say not even a degree program, then you have many options, like performing arts degrees are there. Okay, which is diplomas are there. So which is a 2-year, 3-year program, and you can definitely have options when you search for that.
Got it. So let's say, as somebody, if I am willing to pursue music or related to music fields as a profession, what are the job opportunities that I would have?
You can become a singer, you can become a teacher, you can become a critic, you can become a music composer, a producer. Many options are there. So it's about how you want to be. Like even like I'm a singer, I'm a teacher, and I compose as well. So it's all we are exploring. Right now also I'm writing songs and improving on myself. So being being open to different job, it's really good if you like one thing. Like music is everything for me. So all the options, if it's possible, I'm really definitely interested, because I'm interested in science as well. So I'm interested in musicology, the science behind that, music therapy. So we have that options.
Great, amazing.